before even getting into casting sessions, a director should make sure that their script is in the best state that it can possibly be, because that is going to ensure that people actually want to work on the film, that we're able to get actors to show up at the audition, that you're able to get crew attached. So I think making sure the script is in as good a shape as it can be before heading into sessions is super important. Once we're in sessions, you know, an actor or a director should have taken the time to learn a little bit about how to speak an actor's language before setting out to direct something. Sometimes we get beginning directors who are experienced on the technical side, but who haven't really learned about how to actually direct actors and speak the language that they understand and give actable direction, which is something that, you know, a casting director can help you out with because we have experience with that, obviously. But if you're setting out to do it on your own, just making sure you've read some books or that you've had experience giving actable direction to actors, I think, is very key.
Some of my pet peeves of directors are directors who do everything in one shot, or in one take, really. So, like, you know, I could have worked really hard with an actor who I know is just right, and if you just sort of write them off and without a second look, that's obnoxious. And on the flip side, I've seen directors spend like 45 minutes with someone and then they leave the room and they're like, oh, that was never going to work. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just waste 45 minutes then? Directors who come in without a clear idea of what they're looking for, or with too clear of an idea. Like, again, kind of, I want to know what you're looking for, but it's helpful if you're malleable a little bit, especially if you're working with someone like a casting director. We've had folks come with projects to us looking for something very specific, and we've been able to say, you know, you're going to have way better luck if we broaden the age range here, or if we're looking for, you know, women instead of men in this role. That kind of collaboration is really helpful to get the best talent. I think there's a lot of different factors. We have a really deep talent pool, just an amazing variety of landscapes that you can choose from in Oregon. You know, you can shoot the moon in Eastern Oregon, on the coast, the mountains, city. Portland has a certain cool, hip cachet right now. Super accessible to LA, you know.
Yeah, it's an easy flight for producers and directors to come up here. And we have an incentive program, which is a modest program, but it's enough to bring us enough work to keep us busy. Same time zone as Los Angeles, that I think really helps. Yeah. And really good crews, I would say.
Yeah. And I think once folks come, they just enjoy the city so much that they want to bring their next project back.
Yeah, people like working here.
Sure.
So we have great crews here, people who have a lot of experience, people who are easy to work with. Attitude doesn't fly here very well, so you kind of have to have a real collaborative attitude, otherwise you won't fit in with the culture. I think if you are a low-budget filmmaker looking to crew up, you're probably going to be best off shooting something through the winter because the summertime is very busy, especially with all the TV series we have going on right now. So if you want to get the most actors and the most crew, you're probably going to want to find out what's shooting right now and base your production schedule around that. Because if you come during the busiest time of the year, you're going to get the dregs.
Which is always, you know, regardless of television, like we're always slammed July through October.
Tell us what you're working on now.
Right now, we're just we've just finished up season 4 of Grimm, and we're about to start on season 2 of The Librarians for TNT. And we have a couple other projects up in the air that we're waiting to land, and we're also doing taking part in a national search for Disney Kids. Mm-hmm. One thing I've noticed with a lot of projects that come to us, whether they're film or TV, independent or studio, is that the roles tend to skew more towards men than towards women. And I think it would be advantageous for writers and directors and producers and everyone to think about that when they are putting together a project and try to find ways to make it more equitable. For example, on some of the TV series that we do, sometimes we're casting like 75% men.
Easily.
And we have a ton of women who still haven't been on the show that are amazing. And so, instead of dipping into the, B-list, C-list, D-list level of male actors, we could be getting the A-list level of female actors, and all it takes is to change a role from a male to a female. And so we sometimes will recommend that to our clients, and that can be really helpful. Now, in a city like Portland, when it comes to diversity, that's always a little bit challenging because we're not a super diverse city, unfortunately. So we always try to bring in as many actors of color as possible. But sometimes that, again, it's good to be flexible. Like if you have in mind that it has to be a 75-year-old Chinese woman, maybe we want to open that up to a lot of other different ethnicities to make it a little bit easier to find in a market that's small like Portland.
Agreed.
Portland's a great place to shoot. I think it's got a very collaborative culture in general. And like I said earlier, we don't have the same attitude, I suppose, as some markets have the reputation. So it can be a really fun place to work. If you're in Portland, it's really fun when you get off a long day on set and to be in a city like Portland where there's lots of great restaurants and places to hang out and fun things to do. So you get great crews, great location, great cast, great casting directors, and a great place to hang out when you're not working.
Agreed.
So, Lana, how did you get into being a casting director?
Well, I went to theater school. I studied acting and directing, and I decided that I wanted to be a theater director. So I arranged an internship in a theater company in London, but when I got there, the job fell through. And so I sent resumes out everywhere, and the only person who responded was a casting director. So I went to work for him, learned the business, and then when I moved back to the States, I started my own company. Cool. Erin, how did you get started in casting?
I was also fresh off a theater degree and loved directing, but I have a short attention span. So when I moved to Chicago right after college, I got an internship with a casting company and fell in love. I moved home to Portland a year later, was on my way to LA, and here we are.